the fucking cross in front of me, I could have broke your fucking leg. Don't give me the fucking finger because you think you're fucking in the right.
Hello and welcome to this latest episode of Bicycle Touring Talk. My name is George Schlackegg.
The one and only.
And I'm taking you on a bicycle tour of Canada, coast to coast from west to east. This is the tour I lived in the summer of 2017. You can follow the entire adventure by watching the playlist, Bicycle Tour Canada Coast to Coast. This is now the 58th video in this series. Today's journey starts in the early morning hours of Saturday, August 19th, 2017. I was up shortly after it was light outside and lost no time packing up my stuff to hit the road. My first breakfast was an apple and a few handfuls of trail mix, just enough to get me started. The plan was to find the first available picnic table and have coffee and a proper breakfast. But I had to ride all the way to Antigonish. Am I saying this right? To find one. Some of it was on Route 4, a quiet secondary road. But much of it on the Trans-Canada Highway, number 104. There were plenty of hills and the wind wasn't helping me at all. It was blowing mostly from the east. The picnic table I eventually found was outside the superstore. But first I stopped at McDonald's where coffee was just $1 plus tax for the rest of the month. This also allowed me to access the internet. On Google Maps I saw that I had about 185 kilometers to go to the Newfoundland ferry. Then I bought a big container of yogurt at the superstore and consumed it along with trail mix. I figured that under good conditions I could make the Sunday departure for Argentia, Newfoundland. But because of the wind and the hills, I wasn't too sure about that. I decided to play it by ear. What would be the point of rushing through this part of the Maritimes? The ride continued much the same way. I tried following Highway 4, but it just seemed to disappear every so often, only to divert me to the Trans-Canada Highway number 104. At one point, I turned left at a gas station with convenience store. There seemed to be no traffic as I was turning, but just as I made my way across the two lanes, a car popped up behind me and honked. The speed limit on that road was 70 kilometers an hour, but this guy was obviously going a whole lot faster. His aggressive driving shocked and scared me, so I gave him a one-finger salute. Hey! Just as he went by. That got his attention. He pulled into the gas station and drove up right next to me.
You have a problem.
he asked me in a confrontational tone.
Move the fuck across in front of me. I could have broke your fucking leg. Don't give me the fucking finger because you figure you are fucking in the right.
I told him to slow down, pay attention, and lay off his horn. He responded with some language that I cannot repeat here unless I wanted this video to get demonetized. The lady in the passenger seat, possibly his wife, looked quite embarrassed. After buying and consuming some bananas and filling up my water bottles, I went on. It was a slow ride against the wind and up numerous hills. All along the way, I was wondering if I was on the right track, but every now and then, a sign seemed to confirm that I was. Sometime later, a light rain started, but the wind was so strong that it dried almost the instant it hit me. I was wearing my rain jacket and getting more wet from the inside than the outside due to perspiration. Eventually, I reached the causeway that connects Cape Breton Island from the rest of Nova Scotia. Once again, the wind was the biggest challenge. After the crossing, I checked my phone for the weather forecast. It was supposed to rain all night. At the visitor center, I found out about the best route to continue, as well as local accommodation. The rain was a sure thing now, so I wanted a room. I also scrapped the idea to try and make it to the ferry by Sunday afternoon. Why rush through a beautiful part of the Maritimes in bad weather? I found a very nice room at the Harbour View Inn at a very reasonable price. Once settled in, I called the ferry terminal and pre-booked my passage for the following Wednesday. This was necessary because that ferry only runs 3 times a week. I spent the rest of the night doing laundry and watching TV. The rain was pretty heavy outside at times, and I was glad to have dodged it. Sunday morning started off with breakfast at the motel. In my experience, motel breakfasts are, at best, a way to get something into your stomach before heading out. But this one, the Harbour View Inn, was a big exception with awesome food. There was bacon, sausage, eggs, toast, juice, and of course coffee, as well as fruit salad, and all freshly made by the hosts. Then there were the homemade biscuits, just fresh out of the oven. The place confirmed something I had learned on this tour. Prices for accommodation can vary greatly, but a higher price doesn't always mean a better stay. As a touring cyclist, you might as well just go where the wind takes you. Otherwise, reading reviews might be the way to go. At the visitor center, I had been told that the Trans-Canada Highway would probably be my best bet to continue because it had a shoulder. I took the advice even if it meant backtracking by about 5 kilometers. The ride started off with steep climbs followed by fast descents. The hills were pretty long as well. I rode to Waikokoma with only a few short stops in between to drink some water. The Tim Hortons was on the left, which meant crossing the road, but I did it without hesitation. The Wi-Fi worked well, and I was able to find out about the Waikokoma Provincial Park, which was just a short ride ahead and had simple campsites, as well as excellent reviews that actually contained some useful information. I decided to end my ride early that day and stay at that park. For a change, my tent was set up early in the afternoon and I now had plenty of time. I had read about the hiking trails at Waikokoma, so I decided to explore them without expecting too much. What a surprise this little hike was. The trails took me up a mountain from where I had stunning views of St. Andrew's Channel and the country surrounding it. What added to the amazing experience were the fast-moving clouds with the sun peeking through most of the time. Even that infamous little gray cloud showed up and dumped some rain, only to make way for sunshine again a short while later. Luckily, I had brought the camera along. The trails were steep and sometimes challenging to climb, but well marked. Proper hiking shoes would have made sense, but it wasn't impossible to do it in sandals. The trails were the best part of the stay from my perspective. Amazingly, I had them completely to myself. After returning to the campsite, I cooked and ate supper. When I was done eating, it was almost dark. I had not made any firm plans on where to go the next day. But I was considering the Cabot Trail after hearing about the stunning views. Now, just as I was getting ready for my shower, my phone made a sound. It was a text message from my friend Fred, the guy from Moncton. He was at his parents' house in Cape Breton, and he was wondering how far I had made it. The conversation ended with an invitation to stop by his parents' house and perhaps stay a night or two, even after he would have left. I liked the idea as the location was not very far from the ferry terminal. After my shower, it was dark, and I went to sleep. Well, this is where I'll end this episode. As always, I thank you for watching and ask you to hit the like button, because if you made it this far, you probably enjoyed the video. So I'll see you next time with a continuation of this journey.